So, welcome back, everybody. And today we have Paula. So, Paula, I just want a little introduction. Who you are, where you from?
Okay, my name's Paula and I'm from Grays. Lived in Thurrock all my life. I'm a woman, a businesswoman, entrepreneur, I suppose, a mother, a fiance, and yeah, amazing daughter and friend. And yeah, that's me really.
Perfect. So, you say you've lived in Grays
Well, I
all your
live in
life?
Grays, yeah, lived in Thurrock all my
Thurrock, sorry,
life,
beg your
yeah,
pardon.
no, yeah, trying to escape, but just never quite made it yet.
And how many children?
I've got one child that's my own, and then I've got three stepchildren. Daisy, my daughter, she's 18. Kane is 24. That's James is my partner's son, and then his other son is Chandler. He's 23, and then he's got a daughter Charity, who's 17.
Oh, nice ages, nice and busy.
Yes, very busy. And Kane and his partner are pregnant, and they're having twins. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's
Yeah,
I'll keep Christmas busy. I bet that's
absolutely.
eventful.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your businesses.
Okay, so our main business, I suppose our bread and butter is Cool Gym. That's a HVAC and commercial refrigeration business. So HVAC is basically heating, ventilation and air conditioning. And we work in the domestic and commercial environments with that. And then commercial refrigeration. And then I've also got another business, property business. I do property investment, and I've got a company called Rest and Nest, which I have at the moment 4 Airbnbs or short-term lets, and hopefully I'm looking to grow that portfolio more this year. So
Oh, fantastic. So, a big variety. I
yes.
bet all the Airbnbs have got lovely heating and air conditioning, haven't
Well,
they?
what we did purchase one property a couple of years ago, and that has we fully refurbished that, and that's got underfloor heating and air conditioning in every room. Yes, so yeah,
5 stars.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so moving forward with others that we purchase, we'll do the same if they need refurbishment, because just makes sense to really.
Yeah, no. So, just starting with the Cool Gym side, what got you into that industry?
Well, meeting James nearly 7 years ago, well, yeah, 7 years in April, just before COVID. And I was employed at the time. I got made redundant from a job that I had for 18 years. Worked in a couple of other jobs, and then when I met James, he had another business, but he had to close the business due to COVID. He had a business partner. He had contracts with Pret a Manger and Eat coffee shops, and all his business closed up over COVID, really. And then he started Cool Gym. I was working for a landscape company because that was my background, and he then started Cool Gym, needed help, so then I ended up leaving the company I was working for to then go and help him build Cool Gym.
And did you, so coming, did you say landscaping was, so was that something you done university or anything like that? Or was it
No,
just
I didn't
work
go
out
to
of?
university. No, yeah, I worked for a company for 18 years. It was a hard landscaping supply, so paving, aggregates, boulders, that kind of thing, and worked within the landscape industry, sort of gardens and streetscapes and things like that.
So you've always been in sort of like a trade environment.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And my dad was a scaffolder, my uncle was a builder, my granddad was a painter and decorator, so always been around the construction
Good,
industry. So
good
yeah,
old school sort of
yeah,
like job roles, isn't it? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
how have you found that over the years working? What was it like as a young woman coming into like a predominantly male environment?
Yeah.
How was that?
I mean, when I first went into CED, was the company I worked for 18 years. I went in as a salesperson from retail management. And initially, it was, yeah, it's good. But I got promoted very quickly within that company to operations manager and ran the yard, which was very male dominated. But I've always been quite a strong woman or a strong person, and I've always been encouraged by my parents to stand up for yourself. And being around my dad and scaffolders and builders and such, it didn't faze me. And if anything, I still saw it more as of a challenge. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and my friends, when we're in a cafe, especially like midweek,
Yeah.
we'll always watch the roofers and the scaffolders,
Yeah.
and we always go, "Who do you think's harder,
Yeah.
scaffolders or roofers?" They've always got that look about them. You're like, which one do you reckon will win in a fight?
Oh, don't. Yeah, well, when I was younger, I went to Thailand once and I met a guy there, and he knew my dad from back in the day. And he told me stories about my dad when he was younger that I didn't know, that my dad had obviously kept quiet about what he was like. So, yeah.
Yeah, they always just give you that vibe.
Yep.
So for anyone watching, listening, tell us a little bit more about Cool Gym as a business, a setup, what it actually involves, a bit more detail.
Okay, so within, say, the commercial buildings, sort of office blocks, there's something called HVAC. It's like heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So it's they're heat pumps, and they circulate the air to be used in an efficient way. I'm not the engineer. So it's basically using the energy to cool and heat different areas. And then obviously it goes across different industries. So refrigeration could be in the cafes and coffee shops, restaurants, bars, that sort of thing. Food wholesales for the refrigeration. We build sort of big commercial warehouse rooms that are fridges and freezers and install all the equipment, that kind of stuff.
So it's quite like a broad sort of area, really, because I suppose quite a lot of companies depend on that sort of stuff, don't they?
It does, yeah, especially more so now, obviously, with the sort of big commercial office blocks and things like that, the air conditioning and the VRF systems, which is the ventilation of systems, and ensuring that the air quality is good and obviously providing healthy environments for their staff, and all of that sort of stuff comes into play with it as well. So yeah, it's quite a lot to get your head around and learn, especially when you've got no knowledge of it first starting out. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I suppose. So do you deal with, like, I'm guessing, as you said, you're not the engineer, so you deal with the customer relations side, do you find the work, or is yours just all more office space of running of the day-to-day business?
Yeah, I mean, I do an element of the marketing, and James is obviously, or AKA Jim, he's got a lot of contacts from being in the industry for such a long time. So a lot of our customers are repeat customers, but obviously we've got new customers as well. So I do the office side of things, some marketing, bits of accounts and stuff like that. So yeah. I do the quoting and stuff as well, but James obviously gives me the information, and then I'll sort of put it together. ChatGPT has been my best friend, so yeah.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah.
So just educate me. So what should I be listening out for as a fellow person that's in your networking group? What can I listen out for that could present? Is there any keywords or little things that I should be trying to keep an ear out for?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people with offices have air conditioning, or if someone is doing a house refurb and they're looking for a more efficient way of heating or cooling their space, as our summers are getting hotter, obviously, a lot of people want air conditioning for comfort in their homes and such. But I mean, you could be even out in a restaurant or somewhere like that and notice it, or somebody could have a shop. There's so many elements to it. So listening for, anyone being too hot or too cold,
Yeah.
or needing to keep things cold or hot. So yeah.
So I'm going to notice now, next time I'm in a shop down a high street and I'm sweating or I'm freezing, I'm going to be like,
Yeah, or your pub, like we can do beer cellars and stuff like that. Like in golf club, say golf club, we could do the air conditioning within the golf club itself and all the refrigeration within the catering area. It's quite vast what we can sort of cover.
Yeah. So what about if someone's already got an air conditioning system, a heating system in place, can you help maintenance that or repairs or anything?
Yeah, we can
So,
maintain and carry out repairs. We can fault diagnose and do that sort of thing as well. So we can do design and installation. The scheduled maintenance is really good for us. So we've actually just got a new customer, a school, which is great because they've got all I think 11 air conditioning units. So that's something that we will go round every year, check that the filters are all clean, everything's operating as it should, so it's as efficient as it should be.
perfect. And what's the sort of the long term goal for the company? Do you have one? Do you have where you want to get to, or anything that maybe anyone listening or watching could help along that journey?
I mean, we're always looking to partner with anybody that that needs any HVAC solutions or refrigeration. We are growing more the wholesale food side of things, which is good because James really enjoys the refrigeration side of things, and there is by my understanding, a shortage of good refrigeration engineers. The government aren't really providing the same sort of training routes as what they were when James was younger. So there seems to be a bit of a gap in that. So when we find, or clients find us, they do tend to keep us. So a lot of our clients are long-term clients. With regards to where we want to go with Cool Gym, we would like to build the business, but we are also looking at building the business and investing the money that we earn into property as we're getting older. So then we can then obviously have a bit of an exit route as well in the next probably 5 to 10 years.
And just a little bit off piece, but how important is that planning, do you think, to other businesses as well that could learn from that? Because obviously you're listening to having that plan to move forward, that so in a way you've started a business, built a business, and you've also got that exit plan all sort of running at once.
Yeah, see, I mean, we're in our 50s now, so...
Don't look it.
Oh, shut up, you're too kind. So for us, obviously, looking at retiring as early as we can, so we're still fit and healthy, is really our main goal now. Our children are older, and we want a quality of life that we can still enjoy as we get older. There's still a lot we want to do. I didn't meet James until about 7 years ago, so we're still fairly new as a couple, let's say. To be able to spend time travelling and making memories that maybe we would have before we both had separate lives and children is what we really want to do. So, yeah, I think it's really important to consider the exit for any business with how you're structured as well. Be it that you pass it on to somebody, or do you want to sell your business when you're ready to exit as well? So having systems and things in place to give your business a value, really, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's one of those areas I think people overlook. I think most people start a business because one or two reasons. Like, so someone like myself, I want to do what I enjoy doing. So it's a hobby that you turn into a business. And then you have other people that just want to work for themselves. I think people underestimate how many more hours you do working for yourself. I think we all have this delusional thought that we're going to go on more holidays, spend more time at home. I don't think I've worked so many hours. I think I've definitely aged since giving up employment.
Same,
That's for sure. But I don't feel sometimes we start a business with the right sort of thought process. I don't feel that we think about what we want at the end of it. I think one of the biggest mistakes is jumping in, putting on every hat that you possibly can, and then getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really hard with small businesses, particularly because we took on James's son, Kane, as an apprentice a few years ago, and our sort of vision was, okay, we'll train Kane up. Train can then take over the business when we're ready to then go off to do other things, but James can then still be there as a consultant and when's needed. But then Kane has got his own life, and he's now started his own business, doing what we do or similar. He's more into the site work, which is fine, and it's great, and it's, you know, we want nothing but great success for him. But yeah, so then you're sort of back to then not having the labour and the skill set that you need to then continue to grow. So that's something that I think is quite tricky in, especially in the HVAC business, the finding the engineers, the people to be able to grow, and then to be turning over enough to be able to then pay their wage, as well as obviously both ours and mine and James's. So yeah.
Yeah, no. What would you say has been the biggest challenge so far?
Oh
as
gosh, there's
running the
been a lot.
business?
Learning, obviously, a completely new industry for me. But I think last year we got knocked for a load of money. We got knocked for 40 odd grand, and that for me has been the biggest challenge, definitely, because I'd never been in that vulnerable position before, and never experienced, because obviously there's a lot of emotion that's there as well that's tied up with that, because obviously it's our livelihood, and it's the effect that then has. But I do need to sort of say as well, we earned a lot of profit the previous years, but we invested that in my property company, and we bought a property with that. So we're not in a bad position, but it made me feel, yeah, really vulnerable being in that position, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
So we bought a really great asset with it. But then going through the end of last year was really quite tough, and the beginning, last year for the whole year was really tough. You know, having to still pay the suppliers, you know, still try and live ourselves, and having to make that money back.
Without prying too much into that, I think how did that come about as such? Like, what was the scenario? Without giving too many, I don't want to put you in a hot situation or anything, but
I think it's good because obviously I've learned a hell of a lot from it over the last year, and you know, I'm definitely what you see is what you get kind of person, so I haven't got a problem with sharing it. Yeah, so we were main contractors on a job, and were working with another company. We'd done work for them, they'd done work for us over the years. We gave them a deposit to secure some steel for a mezzanine floor. The project didn't end up going ahead because it didn't get the planning permission, so it got scrapped. So then we've tried to get the deposit back, but this company, they'd done it to other people as well. Basically, they took money off of lots of different people, and then they basically went into liquidation. Yeah. So they folded without anyone knowing that that's what they were going to do. I think it's a little bit dodgy what's gone on as well. Well, very dodgy. But from that, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about James. I've learned about the whole business, the structure, what we should have done, what we shouldn't have done, maybe, you know. So yeah, there's been a lot of good that's come from it as well.
yeah, it's I think it's in life in general. I think it's a common thing if you learn from unfortunately losing.
Absolutely.
And I always say that, be it sport, be it business, whatever it might be, just
Definitely.
general life to life. If we're honest and look at our lives, there's situations that are really shit that you go, well, I've learnt from that.
It's been the biggest learning curves a lot of the time, and the most valuable lessons. Yeah, and you know, I do believe that you know, you got to go through the shit to get to the good. So
Yeah.
you know, the good's coming this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you can feel it. So, but even it's interesting that you said that it just shows us as humans how we operate. That you told me that it's okay, Lo, because I bought something nice, but it doesn't matter. That was money yours. You owed it, and the arseholes have done that.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we've got to earn about $250,000 to get that back. You know, in perspective, because obviously it's our profit. So yeah, I mean the fact that the first few years of Cool Gym, we grew really quickly, and we were doing really well. We didn't see that this project wasn't going to go ahead. To be fair, I mean, James will say it himself as well. He made a lot of the decisions. I did trust him because he'd been in business for so long. There were things that I'd said along the way that, you know, maybe now he would listen to and we would play it out differently. But we're both learning still about being in business together, and I'm learning about his capabilities and vice versa. And, you know, these things happen, don't they?
No, exactly. So, just for clarification, what pressure does that put on? You work together, so obviously, naturally business is going to go home.
Yeah.
So, what kind of pressure does that sort of situation put on you?
Yeah, I mean,
Without prying.
no, that's fine. It's fine. I mean, when this all first happened, because we bought basically a property as well, so we had this contract, and then we'd also started an extension on our house as well at the same time. So James is very ADHD, although he's not been diagnosed. But you've met James, haven't you?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, he's 100 miles an hour.
Got a great shirt collection.
Yeah. And part of this is me learning about him as well. And you know, we started so many things all at once, and then obviously it put a lot of pressure on us, as in even our own living situation at the moment. We're still not completed our extension. I've got a temporary kitchen. I've got wood across the back of the house where my bifold doors would be. So initially, I've had to work on not resenting him for that and the business decisions that's made. So there has been a lot of pressure, but we are very good at communicating, and I don't hold on to stuff, and neither does he.
Yeah.
So that's a real good quality with both of us, and that's why I think we can get on so well, and we can take on things that are quite pressurised because we play to each other's strengths. So yeah.
It's funny enough, it just popped into my head with you saying that. He's on my wedding day in the evening. I remember he's like a granddad to me, but his wife, she pulled me to one side. She said, I'm going to give you one bit of advice. And she always said, you're going to have the most humdingers of arguments and fallouts, and they're going to be over a load of crap.
Yeah.
If you can support each other when shit hits the fan, you'll go a long way and you'll get it. And it's really, really weird because our biggest row today, Lauren will laugh at this so she won't mind me sharing, is over a piece of chicken.
Yeah, it's
Honestly, one of the most loudest, most like screaming, shouting, storming out of rooms, all over a piece of chicken.
Yeah.
But yet, when we've dealt with things like you say, with like financial, certainly in this world now, which things come on top, and you've got to sit down and as a couple and say, right, okay, this has happened.
Yeah.
We can't just. There's never a loud word. It's just right. Let's get a bit of paper. Let's work this out.
How we're going to do this? Yeah, what we're going to do.
And it's so important, that communication, as you rightly said.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both of us were very independent and successful on our own anyway. And I mean, I was a single mum for quite a long time. Before I met James, I had my own house. So I've got a flat that I've had for 18 years or 19 years now that I rent out. So I've always been somebody that's believes in myself, that I've got the ability to be able to get out of, to do something myself. When I first was a single mum, I stayed in the house with my daughter, and when I went to get some help from the council, their advice to me was to give up your house, ask work to make you redundant, because I only worked 2 days a week then, and go into rented accommodation so then you can get benefit and get help. I just turned around and said, well, what kind of example is that teaching my daughter? You know, like, and so it was like, no, I'll find a way to make it work. I've always been like that, and James has always been like that. So together, we very good, I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's weird,
I know.
it's
yeah.
weird you say that, actually, because I had a spell where I needed somewhere to live. And don't get me wrong, I could have always gone home, and I don't want it to sound like my home life was tragic, because
Yeah.
it really wasn't. I couldn't have been asked to be loved or cared for.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was ready to just be independent, and I didn't want to take that option. And I remember going to the council, and the girl I was seeing at the time, and I remember him sit there, looked at me, and just basically said, well, you got two options. My advice would be maybe you could try for a kid.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I remember I was only 19, 20
Yeah.
at the time I'm going back, and I remember being like, what? And it was like, yeah, we can't really help you. And to be honest, I don't think I even listened to the second thing because I was gobsmacked.
I
I was just
know.
like, this is the advice we're being given.
Absolutely, and from a single mum, I mean, you know, I just was absolutely gobsmacked as well. But then that gave me the fire in my belly to then
Exactly
actually
that.
go, do you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. So I did, you know, did it cleaning and ironing for people in between my 2 days working because I wanted to be there for Daisy and as she was growing up, and was like, right, no, I'll do that. And it wasn't long before I met James that I actually bought the house bought the house from Daisy's dad, bought him out, although he left when it was in negative equity and never paid a penny towards it after he left. But I still had to pay him 16 grand as well when I bought the house off of him. But, you know, it's
Yeah,
like,
it'll
yeah.
never make sense to me how all this works. It really won't.
Yeah, I hope he listens to this as well.
And we want a 16 grand back. Now, this is going slightly off topic, but I think it's really important, and I'm glad we're on the subject because I think a lot of people will get something from it. What advice would you give to like a younger generation now in terms of getting easy options out? I don't think people really understand the self satisfaction that they would get. So if we took a single mum in today's world that might perhaps just rely on universal credit and think, well, this is easy. I don't have to do anything. What is that self satisfaction like to be able to say that you stood on your own 2 feet, you actually went out, done it, worked hard, and now you sit here today with obviously your property business and Cool Gym? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think anything that you want is achievable. I think like we was talking before about, you know, the only thing that stops you is your determination, and you're going to fail. You're going to fail again. You're going to fail again. But it's just keeping at it and believing that you can do something. I don't think it's ever too late to retrain to do something new. I think we've all got the same ability to be able to learn stuff, but it's just consistency and believing in yourself, really. When Daisy was young, when I turned 40, I went back to full-time work and then did a marketing qualification part-time. I'm not naturally academic. I never was, and I never will. I don't think I ever will be. And it took me... I failed my first 2 exams by a few points, but my teacher said to me, you know, it's not that you don't know what you're talking about, you do, but you're not presenting it in the way that academia expect you to or want you to. So I had to learn how to do that. And it's just, again, if you fail, you just got to keep going, do it again until you get it right.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, yeah.
And I do think that we unfortunately now live in a generation where it's easy to give up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's too many options on the table now of like we was in a generation, like I'm not a dinosaur, but we grew up in a generation where it was you didn't have a choice. If you wanted something, you had to go and get it.
100%, yeah.
And it's mad. Like I think even now, right? And I know as a parent, I don't know if you, Jim, are the same. We're part of the problem a little bit in my household for sure. Like I remember my first bike, I had to like do loads and loads of jobs and go to the second-hand shop. Right, you don't really see them anymore, but there used to be loads of them around where I lived. And I remember like eyeing up a bike and being like, 25 quid short.
Yeah.
And then the heartbreak of going back and seeing it's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
But you had that and I think that's installed something that you can work towards getting something. Where now, after ask for something, Amazon is on the click of a button.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for some reason, I'm not really teaching him the same values that I was taught because I feel like I need to keep him socially acceptable with his friends. And I'm thinking, am I creating a problem later in life?
I think they're definitely... I mean, I've never just given Daisy money. I mean, sometimes, but I've never given her, like, say, a weekly allowance or anything, because if she had chores that she had to do, if she didn't do a chore, she didn't get her money. Yeah. And I think that's definitely instilled quite a good work ethic into her, and her seeing what I do, and it's so lovely now hearing her say to me, "Oh, Mum, I want to do what you're doing with the property," but she wants to start earlier. So, but yeah, we're definitely part of the problem. Because we don't want, as you say, this is social pressure for your kids not to feel left out because they've not got the latest this or latest that. But we're all a product of consumerism, aren't we?
Yeah, no,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Own worst bloody enemies.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So at that point, I'm just going to stop. We'll go to an ad break and then we'll come back and we'll get really involved in the other side of yourself.
Welcome to WVE Studios, a brand new purpose-built video, photo and podcast studio right here in Wickford, Essex. Our video studio is ideal for showreels, live streams and talking head videos, with state-of-the-art lighting and audio equipment that makes your content look and sound amazing. Need stunning images? Our photo studio is a flexible 3x3 meter blank canvas, perfect for headshots, portraits and more. And with changeable studio lighting, you can create just the right look for every shoot. Plus, we offer newborn, family, pet, business photo sheets, and so many others. We have a photo shoot session perfect for you. And for the podcasters, our custom-built podcast studio features 4 high-quality microphones, a large screen, and fully customizable lighting and sound effects. Perfect for audio or film sessions. Book your space today at wvstudios.co.uk.
So welcome back. So I'm really, really intrigued now. I want to know all about this property side of your business portfolio.
Okay, well, it all started because I was an accidental landlord, is what they call you. I had a flat that I just purchased, which was my nan and granddad's actually, and before I met Daisy's dad, and then I met Daisy's dad, we fell pregnant, and so then we bought the house. So I kept the flat and rented it out. So over the years, I've obviously managed that flat and learned lots of stuff, and then it obviously increased in value sort of in 10 years, and then when I met James, he had some properties, and we were earning a nice little bit from each property, and I was saying to him, we need to get more properties. We really need to get more properties because it's fairly passive. And then that was it. I decided I wanted to get into property, so then I started to do some education. I did some 3-day sort of seminar things, and then I went and did some official education. I paid 16 grand for some education, got a mentor, went to Lincolnshire every month for a few days, looking at different properties, was thinking of buying up there, and then found a property, was going through with the purchase, and then my next door neighbour went into care. And so James said, why don't we look at trying to buy that instead? So I pulled out of the one in Lincolnshire, and then we bought the property next door in my company name, which is Chalmers Property Investments. And then we fully refurbished that. And because it was a property down south, you need, like, just doing it as a buy to let, you don't get as much return on your investment. So I then decided to run it as a serviced accommodation. So that's how that sort of worked. And then I really enjoyed doing the service accommodation, and I enjoy the process. I actually quite like the decorating and the creative side of it. And also, I don't mind staying in them myself. So it was like, actually, I feel like I want to grow my portfolio, but I haven't got the money to do that yet. And in property, obviously, you need money, always looking for people to invest. I found one lady that invested with me, and so then I got some rent-to-rents, they call it. So I've rented 3 other different accommodations, and I'm running them as Airbnbs, or they call it Airbnbs, but it's short-term lets.
Yep.
So it's not just Airbnb that they're listed on, and the ideal scenario is that you have direct bookings your marketing, obviously, which I've managed to do with some of them, and you have sort of long-term contractors or people that have got insurance claims going through that come to stay, like a home from home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think funny enough, a short-term let, my friend, they had a fire at their house when we were young, growing up, and they went into, and it's quite funny because it was when the Docklands had just been rebuilt.
Right, yeah.
So they had like this, at the time, I think they were going for like £500,000, but in today's world, that'd probably be like, what, £1.5 million apartment.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to go home.
No.
They're like, no, I'll stay here, thanks.
That's the thing, yeah. So yeah, it's, and I do really enjoy it. I love the whole sort of building and construction industry anyway, and the doing the refurb on the house next door and the extension, etc. It's been great for my knowledge and for my experience. So now I'm just looking to grow the portfolio, really.
So how many have you got on there at the moment?
So I own one, and I've got 3 that I rent. The company that I market the short-term lets at, I made a different company called Rest and Nest, and I've literally just had the website finished and the branding. So I'm going to start doing some direct marketing and looking to grow the portfolio.
Perfect. And what sort of locations are they in?
So I have 3 in Thurrock and 1 in Chelmsford. I do want to get some more in Thurrock. There's a lot of stuff going on in Thurrock that's and it's obviously on my doorstep at the moment, and so far that's proving to be quite nice. My cousin's got her own cleaning company, and I'm helping her grow now as well, which is really good. So
yeah, so it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider like coastal destinations and things like that? Is that on the wish list?
Definitely. The dream, or the ultimate sort of goal would be to have service accommodation in different destinations, and then we can use the different destinations ourselves as well. So yeah, that would
Don't
definitely.
fancy staying up the road, in fact, just
No,
around the corner.
I don't really want to stay in the Stamford, really, but
Because
yeah.
it's quite strange. So obviously I had a spell doing working for an art company, and we went to all weird and wonderful cities, places, villages, whatever you name it, and it blew my mind how many properties were just like Airbnb.
Yeah.
And I suppose you don't realise how many people, until you're in it like you are, how many people are travelling for work.
No, absolutely.
And how many people look for that. So to sort of a novice's brain, you'd be like, oh, do you need one there?
Yes.
And you're like, actually, I think Lauren's dad, he worked with his nephew on one, doing it, and it was like this back street up in Clerkenwell.
Yeah.
But the man, like, it was like fully booked for like ridiculous amounts on end.
Yeah.
Because it was just outside the premium price postcodes, but one Uber of £7 and you're bang in the middle of everywhere.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I mean, who really wants to come and stay in Grays? You know, like it's not a holiday destination, but obviously we've got the transport links straight to the city. You know, you've got the docks.
Yeah, the docks are massive, aren't they?
You've got the shopping centres, but then you've got people that just are looking to refurbish, or I've got people in at the moment, and they've had a water leak. In their property, so they've got an insurance claim going on. And, that's like for 3 or 4 or 5 months booking, which is, 2 of my properties have got that in. So, to be able to provide that for people that are going through a really quite emotional time as well, where, they don't want to go too far from where they live. They still want to be schools or, family and friends and stuff. So it's a good thing to do. I like it, but I do really enjoy the dressing of it and the decorating and stuff.
I think Lauren would be exactly the same. She'd love it. To be fair, our front room looks amazing. It's a panelling done, and I have not lifted a finger.
No.
Not a finger. She is definitely the more Mal side of doing the building work and all things like.
Did she do it all herself?
Yeah,
brilliant.
She done all the panelling with her dad.
Yeah.
And then she's decorating and she's eyeing up the bedroom now. So I get ready just to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a good man should.
So obviously there's a lot in the press about buying to lets and things like that. Was there any recent challenges, or is it all a little bit scaremongery on the news?
Yeah, I mean, there's been the renters reform bill, which has changed the rules and regulations for a lot of landlords. A lot of landlords have obviously are leaving the industry because of it. But I suppose it depends on whether it's something you want to do for a career or if it's something that you're sort of just dabbling in. There's an element of that. There's also a lot of people that say there's not as much money to be made. But obviously I'm in it now, so I wouldn't know what, maybe 5 or 10 years ago would have been if with a bigger portfolio. So yeah, I think there's still good opportunities. I think there's definitely going to be more regulation with the serviced accommodation stuff coming in. Well, there already is. There will end up being a register and things like that. But that's just gets rid of the people that aren't doing it properly, just like any sort of regulations like that, I think.
Yeah. So in terms of the goal of how many, is there a limit? Or just as what you can manage to purchase till?
Yeah, I mean, we want to purchase more. I want to purchase more properties ourselves, so that's more sort of looking at investors or potentially using our pensions. You can use your pensions to purchase commercial property. So you can have a SIP or a SAS pension, and then you lend yourself the money out of your pension. So that's something that we'll be looking at doing in the next sort of year or so. And also, I definitely want some more rent-to-rents, but I've not got a limit on it. One of my friends, she's also done some service accommodation, so we're looking into going into partnership to get some stuff together. How many can I manage, I suppose?
How many times a day do you look at Rightmove?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there in the evenings looking at stuff. James is like, you're always on your phone.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting though, because I think people plough money into pensions. I generally don't think there's a lot of education in what people can actually do with their money.
Definitely.
And it wasn't until I joined BNI that I actually got introduced to, like, say, different types of options, like the SIP option. And, well, did you know you could do this? And did you know this option? I was like, no. And it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, is that you put on all these hats when you start a business. And again, there's no real financial plan.
No.
At all.
No. Well, and you don't know. It's not that they teach you in school about money, is it? And how to protect your money or your mindset around money or how to use debt to finance what you want, like as in grow your business or purchase property.
Again, it'll be going off on a tangent here, but it boils my blood, and I still can't fathom how we are not. It's still to date, they are never discussed. National insurance, sort of tax, how it works, VAT, how it works, how that is not in our education system.
I know.
Is beyond me.
It's bonkers.
Absolutely beyond me.
I totally agree, and even things like learning about trusts and how to protect your wealth or your and pass down your property to your family without it incurring all of the taxes that you've already paid tax on it all. But yeah, it seems like it's the well kept secrets, isn't it? Just for the people, for the few.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And had I not stepped into a room like A to Z, I generally probably still would be none the wiser.
Yeah.
Well, Claire will vouch for me, mate. Don't worry. I'm still not great because I'm the worst person to have to be an accountant for. Believe me. But so I'm still learning from mistakes. But like you say, just understanding your options on the table, just how important it is to have protection. And yeah, we walked smack back into COVID as a business and lost in the region of about £120,000.
Yeah.
That will never be seen again. And you can't help but wonder what would have been, but had there been a little bit, maybe some protection there or some thought process in what we've done with the years before money, rather than let's be honest, we pissed it up the wall and had a great time doing it, but you just think you're invincible.
Yeah, definitely. When it's good, isn't it? And
Yeah,
you're rolling.
it's
You're like, yay.
definite famine or feast in
Yeah,
this world.
definitely.
Well, in my world, it is anyway.
Yeah, same.
But each time I get more sensible each time.
Yes. Do you think that's age, or do you think
I'm denying that. I'm trying to hide from that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, everything I'm sort of been learning and on this journey over the last, I suppose, sort of 10 years or so, and absorbing, I'm trying to pass on to my daughter, because the money mindset and these things, it is a generational thing, and we're not really encouraged to be entrepreneurial or to take these risks. And I think it's something that's really important, that we should be encouraging that.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's a lot easier especially for the kids, to earn money with all of the avenues they've got, social medias and all these different digital platforms that they've got to be able to monetize stuff,
Yeah. No, I think it's a breath of fresh air when you see youngsters, and we've had it quite recently. Obviously, Rob's daughter Paris, I think, done her cards recently,
That's
and
brilliant.
to be being very open, I didn't need them. I was just like, no, and I think I bought 20 quid's worth, 15 quid's worth, whatever it might have been. Just good luck to her. Like, there's that little bit of support, because it takes bravery to step up to that.
Definitely.
We've actually had a couple of young lads on like the Facebook group of our Trafford 100. And they'll be like washing cars, pulling weeds.
Yeah.
And if we can find anything, I'm like all for it. I'm like, that
Definitely,
needs reward, that they realise that they can make money.
And who knows, they might be the next Alan Sugar, or, you just don't know, do you?
No, it just comes through. But yeah, I think if they can get into schools and educate people on options. And I think also just talking about like what you've been is the success. You've had your sort of bits to get over, but just having that attitude of I will continue, I will carry on. It's just getting better and bigger every time. And I think try and getting people not to give up and to be okay with failure.
Yeah, definitely. And, nobody that's successful, even, looks at the likes of Richard Branson, and, if you read their autobiographies, they've all failed, and they've all failed and then failed until something actually stuck and was successful and then hit. But, that's part of your journey, isn't it? Part of the process. What's the worst can happen? You just lose everything and you go again.
Yeah. It's no different to people that love a bet. They'll always tell you how much they've won. They'll never tell you about the losing tickets and how much they lost.
Yeah.
And I think business is very much like that.
Yeah.
Like I say, I know there's people out there that have, like you say, gone again and again and again, and then they're resentful for others. Funny enough, we had a conversation recently downstairs about the Sidemen. And it's not until you watch their documentary that you just think, oh, look, bunch of idiots clowning around on YouTube. Like, if you see their working day and how many hours they do and what they produce and how hard they work, you actually come away from it going, they deserve to be millionaires.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Kids might think it's easy, but Christ, they get a wake-up call.
But that's the problem, isn't it? Is a lot of the time with social media, it's put out there that it is easy, that it is a quick fix, and you don't always see the days that they have failed, and or the times that someone's not paid them, or all of that. It's always that, oh, look at this success and this and this. It's rather than the full journey. I mean, there are some creators out there that do show the full journey, but we definitely need more of that, I think.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm quite intrigued because I get the we're on theme because we're on International Women's Day recently.
Yeah.
So, again, going back, obviously single mum, powered on through. Is there a way or a community that you think there is around that you can make aware, where maybe a single mum or just a stay-at-home mum that might be a little bit lost, wants to be someone other than mum? What advice could you give to someone to say, well, look, you can get out there and be successful and independent?
Well, there are lots of different. There's different networking groups that you can go to. But if you're thinking of doing something, I think if there's people that you want to be like that are successful in business, or that are doing something that you feel like you want to do, reach out to them, get in touch with them, because most of the time people will want to, help somebody else and, share their story or be there to mentor them. There's a lot of people that want to give. There's lots of women's networking stuff as well. Groups on Facebook and Instagram and places like that as well.
Yeah, so I think, I say, there's a lovely young lady that cleans here, and I was talking to her yesterday, funny enough, and she's got an 18-month-old, again, on her own and stuff. And it was just interesting to see, like, I couldn't get a job, no one would really give me the opportunity because I wouldn't work around my childcare. And I was like a breath of fresh air. I thought she's just jumped up. She went, I'm probably not doing it right, but I'll charge him right, but I'm out and I'm working.
Yeah.
And I just thought, God, if only everyone could have that mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
And that bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And then I look at like Lauren struggled for a long time to find something that she's truly passionate about, to be Lauren again.
Yeah.
Not to be mum. And I think as men, we go out like, dare I say, our lives don't really change when children come into the fold.
100%. Yeah, I think women struggle with that quite a lot as well. That identity thing, and if I'm not a mum, then who am I? Sorry, my
That's okay.
phone's ringing then. So yeah, because you do have to change so much when you become a mum, and you have to become very selfless. And then when you get to the point where I suppose it's your time again, it is a sort of a rediscovery that you need to go through that process, I think. So yeah. And
how did you yourself, being someone that's done that, how did you find that courage, or was it just something that was installed, or did you have to push yourself at times?
Yeah, I mean I think, just even for me becoming a mum, that was a massive adjustment initially. And then you just from my experience, I kind of got used to feeling like, oh yeah, okay, I'm a mum and this is good, and getting into the groove of it all, sort of thing. And then then when they get to sort of 8, 10, then they kind of sort of distance themselves a little bit again, and it's like, oh, you're sort of surplus to requirements. But I think there's an element that I'm still always doing that and changing and adapting and because my daughter's 18 now, and there's times that she really needs me, and then there's times that she's just like, oh no, I'm with my friends, like, please don't even talk to me. So I don't think there's a real way of dealing with it. It's just a matter of, self-reflection. I've done a lot of sort of self-care work, like meditation and yoga and stuff like that, and going and being with other women that have experienced the same sort of journeys, and sharing experiences.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, fun enough, you're saying like the well-being side, just looking after yourself. I think that's, again, another one that's just so underlooked. Like, sometimes I have to remind Lauren, like, give yourself a break.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure we know recently on a lot of people, but I think stay-at-home mums are, especially, I think there's so much pressure, and I think people overlook the boredom, the like you say, that.
Well, and sense of purpose, maybe, because it is quite a monotonous and thankless thing. Like if you're in a job, you're getting your salary. You're getting your reward, but you don't necessarily get that if you're at home, a stay-at-home mum. So yeah, but then there's a lot of benefits from being a stay-at-home mum as well.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I wanted to be a stay-at-home dad until I realised it come with the washing, the ironing.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've been to the shops yet, I'm like, I can't possibly do all this in one day. It's like, what do you think I fucking do, Andy? And then I'm going to own up, right? I am one of those that I want to be praised for every little job I've done, and I need to tell you what I've done.
Yes.
Like, I'll come in, take my coat off, put it there, sit down for dinner. I won't mention anything. Mate, if I clean the floor and I hoover, you need to know about either. And if Lauren puts her coat down, I'll be like, Yeah, I've been tidying all day.
And I've done the washing up. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got the other side that I don't mind doing it, but if Lauren leaves the house and says it at the front door with her, oh, can you do this before you go out? I don't know why it really triggers me. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's just the dynamics on most households, really.
Yeah, no. And again, it's interesting you talking about your daughter, like some days wanting you as mum, and then some days no, I'm with my friends. And I think personally for me, that's the bit I'm going to struggle.
It's
like,
difficult.
At the moment, like we're inseparable with my son who's 9.
Yeah.
And the thought of him being like, Dad, go away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping I'm cool enough that that's not going to happen, but I know it is.
It is a really difficult thing, and you do have to be very selfless as a parent and understanding. And yeah, it's you know, one minute they need you, and even now, like, you know, they want you all the time, or they need you to go and rescue them because their car's broken down or something. And then as I say, next minute she's just like, I'll knock on the door, walk in, and she'll, yeah, like, did you want something? It's like, okay, all right, I'll go.
Yeah, no, funny enough, we're in a position at the moment where the hormones must be flying around the body, because like within 5 minutes we can go from laugh joking to shouting and hollering, and dare I say, he's me.
Yeah.
I try to say, no, I'm not like that, and then I feel myself reacting to certain things. I'm like, he's just copying.
Yeah.
and that's the tough part about being a parent. Sometimes you've just got
definitely.
to swallow it and go, you know what, this is my fault.
Yeah.
Like, he's just copying my behaviours
Absolutely.
that I've got away with for years, because I haven't had a little mini me copying every move that you make. And I suppose in a way, it's like looking yourself in the mirror. When people say look in the mirror,
Yeah, definitely.
you look in the mirror and you go, I actually don't like that about myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm seeing a little human do it back. I'm going to change.
Yes. Oh, she's actually definitely my daughter. There's a few times I've thought that. Oh my gosh! But then don't we do it? I still do it to my parents. You know, all right. I may be a bit more mindful as I've got older or as I become a parent, but it's still the same when you when you need something. It's like, Mum, Dad, like, yeah.
I can go weeks, but shamefully, without speaking
absolutely.
with my mum. But yeah, I'll always, if I'm...
When the shit hits the fan, it's your mum or that you want.
And don't get me wrong, I love my mum to pieces, but she's as mad as a box of frogs, and I'll happily share a TikTok that will prove that she's mad as a box of frogs.
My mum's mad as a box of frogs as well, so it's all right.
But I sometimes think, I don't know why I'm making this phone call. She definitely can't help, but I need my mum.
Yeah, no,
and even
absolutely,
at 42, it's still a thing.
Definitely, yes.
No, but thank you so much. We have been all over.
We have, yeah.
But I like it because it's nice when it's not scripted and it's generic, and like you said, I feel comfortable talking with you.
Yeah, same, yeah.
It's been good to get
really
to know you. I know
nice.
we smile and say good morning to each other, but it's our first proper...
Yeah, no, we've not really
down.
chatted much, have we? So, no, it was when you put it out, I was like, right, I'm going to go and do this. I need to get to know more about you. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm boring, really. There's not much.
I doubt that.
There's not a lot I'm going to admit on camera, that's for sure.
We'll have a chat off camera then.
But no, thank you so much for coming in and sharing,
obviously,
all your experiences and the business. We'll make sure we link everything in to the description, so anyone that wants to get in touch, and anyone from our group listening, I hope they book a one-to-one with you as well.
I recommend it, yeah. Well, but one-to-one with you as well.
Oh, yeah, no.
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. You
Cheers.
too.